Welcome to Estate Agency Mastery, Season 3, episode, I don't even know anymore, it's the last one.
I need to ask a quick, what camera are we looking at?
Well, you can look at whichever one you want, don't worry. Just look at me.
I don't want to just stare at you, it's weird.
That's very kind indeed. Right, so Sian, always the same. If you're in Birmingham, Belfast, Bognor Regis, you're looking to start an estate agency business tomorrow, I want some gold from you, right? I know you're brilliant on your socials, you're the queen of Sittingbourne. If you're about to go and start up, what should you be doing? I want 3 tips. What's the first one?
Number 1, get involved in your community.
Okay.
People need to know who you are, what you're doing. It doesn't have to be anything massive. It's just to let people know you've launched your business. If they know anyone, it's just about building that sort of initial foundation. Number 2, I would strongly be suggesting as well that you reach out to sort of past clients, etc., to leave reviews on your business page. That is enough social proof to sort of get you off the ground, because when people are looking at what agents to be using, they're going to Google you.
Yep.
They need to know that you're a real person and you've got a bit of social credibility behind you. And next one is hit the ground running. Go knock the doors.
Okay.
Get your letter campaigns going. Move the needle every day.
Fine. All right, so let's dive into the first one then. So you've gone community reviews and get out and play all out, right? So I've always said you don't know money sat behind your desk. It's a contact sport. So if you listen to that going, all right then, yeah, how do you actually get involved? Do you sign up for scouts? Do you do you get on the social media pages? Do you go and play a bit of tennis? What do you actually do? Give us some practical insights.
I mean, you probably wouldn't join Scouts because you're an adult. I got kicked out of Brownies as well when I was younger.
Doesn't surprise me.
Not at all. But just things like showing your face at events. I've done things in the past where, I've put a little celebration together, put £200 behind a local bar, invited everyone down. Am I big on sort of sponsoring local fairs and stuff? Not really, if I'm honest. I think that the return on investment's probably not great at it. Going places, golf clubs, places like that, I've found have been really quite good. Buy yourself a bottle of wine, talk to people that are there. And even just like school runs, just chatting to people on the school run. I've done things where, I've agreed with local sort of football clubs and stuff. They've put my signs up for nothing, bit of negotiation there, obviously. But like I said, I wouldn't be throwing money into too much of it, because are you going to get it back in comparison? Probably not.
Just on that, that's a big mistake I see when agents start. They go, right, I've got my 6-month cash flow or whatever else. And then they don't lead with revenue and they go, right, I'm going to do this advertising board. Or the school have said I could put boards up, but it's 25 quid a board. And they want 100. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I think you've touched on something brilliantly, which is if there's a fireworks night or something, just create a little WhatsApp group. I'm going down, first round on me, who fancies coming? So it might cost you 50 quid, but you're utilising someone else's event to piggyback on. But then people will start associating that, and then next year when you get bigger, you can go, right, I might have a table, but people will start associating that event with you for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, and I think as well, even scaling it down even more so, if you're, I don't know, I like to work from coffee shops, things like that, take a little picture, put it on my Instagram story, tag them in it, they'll share it, they've got 6,000-7,000 followers, you're naturally going to get people off the back of that going, oh, well, she knows the area, or even just jumping on a little Instagram or Facebook Live and just saying, no, this is where I am today, just so that you become associated with that area. Like in Sittingbourne, I know it like the back of my hand, been there 35 years. And over, the last, been, independent now for 3 years, and just over that time, I've sort of just built a relationship with every local business in the area. And one of the other things I did sort of actually quite recently was building a business directory from social media, of just putting out, because I can't post on my local community pages, they don't allow you to. So I put a personal thing up just saying I'm really interested in just sort of building a local directory of all the businesses online. I want to be able to actually recommend independent local businesses rather than generic type things. And off the back of that, I probably had about 10 instructions from people just saying, oh, yep, shunt, because they've already seen your name and they know that you're associated. And I think you touched on it, the fact that at the very start, your cash flow is a little bit limited, and you need to actually, think about what makes you the money and what doesn't. And one thing that I see too much that I can't quite get on board with, I understand it, but I don't think it's right, is agents that throw a load of money into professional videography as to how they can help Mr. A or Mr. B, but with absolutely no social credibility behind them or any personal brand. And I think that is for later down the line, whereas at the start, it needs to be just authentically organic to build.
Yeah, and one of our podcast guests we had on earlier in the series was talking about how actually now just whipping out your phone and the non-polished stuff is getting more traction and more algorithm pushes than the really nice, hi, it's Sian from la la la, right?
Yeah.
Which I completely agree with. The directory thing, I just want to touch on that. We've got a really good agent over in Ealing, ACD, Anthony Cordowling, and he did the exact same thing, right? So when he started, he said, right, I'm looking to build a local directory. And he actually built, and we were talking off camera about Claude now and everything else, how you can give it some really good prompts and it will produce some really good stuff. But he built a directory of 50 different trades or different businesses, kept it as digital, did a few printouts, and then sent that out. But each time that's a call to a member of your community, a local business owner, to say, hey, do you mind if I promote your business?
Yep.
So when that electrician's out, that I think the first one he got was, well, this might have been another agent the first time they did it, got on really well with a double glazing fitter salesman, and he gave me 3 instructions in the first 3 months.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's not just you're doing that to get business referred to you, but for instance, like the glazing stuff, it turned out that the glazer I was recommended was actually a seasoned portfolio owner, an investor. So now I've got X amount of him on my property management books.
Nice.
So it's indirect and direct.
And you also know that if someone goes, I'm knocking down that house for $5,000, the windows are blown, you can FaceTime and go, roughly how much and you get a quote, and then you can negotiate, right? So you're building your power team or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Anything else on community before we move on to the next one?
I think just touching on the last point will be that your community needs, it's overall in business about, I'm massive on being authentic, that your community needs to know actually who you are as a person and not this polished, like we said about the videography or the Instagram live or whatever it is they need to know the actual you. And that's something I'm massive on. People in my community know what I'm about, what I am. Yeah. So again, and the podcast guest we had, the one on before you, was talking about just having one mobile number, one social media, and don't let your personality come through as well. And you're saying the biggest failure agents in Dubai have is they have their party style social media and then their professional one. They have a work phone and then their whatever else they do phone. And they almost live a Jekyll and Hyde life. But the other bits, the first one's too polished and there's no personality in there. And the other one's maybe a bit too party-ish, if you like. All right, the second tip was reviews. Yep.
Are we talking Google reviews, Facebook reviews, Trustpilot reviews?
All the reviews.
All the reviews.
All the reviews. Everywhere you can get a review, get a review.
But I'm just starting. How do I get a review of a previous client if I was employed?
Steal their data.
It's a lie. We will not be doing any data stealing. I'm guessing the answer there, which I'll answer my own question because you're being facetious, is you can still contact people in which you've served. If they reach out to you, go, hey, do you mind giving me a Google review for way back when?
You're not, if you've signed an agreement to say that you can't approach them for business, there's nothing saying, you can't approach them for a review on the business that you have done previously for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. And as well is actually getting authentic reviews, because I've seen in the past people with the same surname leaving reviews, and it's like, okay, your mum might review you, your nan might review you, but I can see through that, and I think potential clients will probably see through it as well. But yeah, like the first thing people are going to do is they're going to Google you. So if you can have your reviews there, you've got a bit of backing behind you. Trustpilot as well, obviously, people trust that because it's a verified, system. Facebook reviews, they can be a little bit trickier, I find, because you get a lot of people that leave reviews about how great you are with investing crypto. I've got a few of them, which is great. And Facebook is also a really easy avenue for people to leave...
Have a pop.
Yeah, pretty much, to leave shitty reviews.
Yeah.
And I've had that. You can't remove them, you can't do anything. It's what it is. But also it's a really easy way to get someone to actually put a good review on it and just share it. That's already like one of your social media posts gone out. And I think my tip would be to try and grow your Google reviews more so than any other.
Yeah, I'd say that's the main one. And in the world of AI, where your previous audit trail and history is going to be so important, when you're going to your personal AI, who should I use in Sittingbourne? It will scrape socials, it will scrape all the different reviews and then present back personality types of who I think I would like. So the more you have in your locker, the more likely I believe through LLMs you're going to show up later on. Okay, makes sense. What if I'm listening to this and I think, yeah, but what if I get one bad review? What happens then?
Okay, so that was always my concern. Is I was on, I had my 55-star reviews. I was like, everything's great. If I get a bad one, it's not going to be legit. I'll get it removed by Google. Fast forward, I had a 1-star review left, and it was a completely falsified review. It brought it straight down. Brilliant. After that review, I then had someone leave a 1-star review again. No name, no message, no anything. So then that brought it down even more. At this point, I'm panicking because I'm like, I've worked so hard to get my reviews and now they're just coming through. Google refused to remove them, even though, one of them was a very lengthy one and one of them had no name, no message on it, and they refused to do it. And then I realised that the following couple of weeks, as I had people calling me and they said, I've seen your reviews and like we're really interested in talking to you because you seem, to know what you're doing and you're good at it. And then I thought, well, actually, people, I don't know if you do it, I like to look at reviews for everything and anything. And if it's 4.9, 4.8, it doesn't really bother me, but I will filter to see what the bad reviews are.
Yeah.
And if there's, one that has no message and someone's, the company have written back.
It's BS, right?
Yeah, and said, I think this has been left out of malice, it's a shame people feel the need to do so. Or if there's a really lengthy one that someone's gone back and corrected their information on, then you think you're chatting shit. Yeah. Like, that's absolutely fine. But also I think it almost gives you that sort of credibility that you're a real business.
100, there's nothing worse than I've got 100 5-star reviews. You go, surely not 100 people would have given you a 5-star, maybe a 4, it might have been like a Karen.
Yeah.
So I almost think it undoes you if you're a 5-star fully.
Yeah.
And again, how you respond, if you respond quickly, well-mannered, not with emotion.
Yeah, I did have to leave one a couple of days to respond to because, I'm fiery. I have no filter, and I thought, no, that's my shop window. I need to behave myself slightly. But what was even better about that review is that my seller, that it was about his property, was getting together Ring doorbell footage and all sorts to prove him wrong. Yeah. I was like, okay, yep.
I remember this one well. I do remember this one well. Okay, fine.
And they went on my Facebook and did the same thing. But it is, like I said, it hasn't ruined my business at all. And no. I haven't had anyone say, well, I notice you've got a couple of 1-star reviews. It's just your reviews are really good. Like, that's it. Yeah.
So far you've given real well practical information, which has been brilliant. You're obviously growing a team over in Kent, and you're part of the coaching team at TA UK, and we try and keep this podcast brokerage agnostic, so we don't talk about specific things or why agents are better or brokerages are better, so we're not going to do any of that. But the reason I wanted to press on that is you've had a real insight into Nick's coaching program.
Yep.
And what's rolled out at TA UK. So when you said, I think, roll your sleeves up and get going,
yep.
What does that look like?
I think it's if you join a model or you go independent, however that looks, with a model, by yourself, whatnot, I think it's really easy to get into your own head about when to start, how to start, and how it's going to look. And it's very easy to start delaying it. Today it's not very nice weather, I don't want to go outside and hit the streets, or I haven't quite got what properties I'm going to target. Am I going to look at withdrawn? Am I going to look at on the market? How long on the market? Things like that.
Getting ready to get ready.
Yeah, just forever, basically. Whereas the coaching program that we've got is very much about, here's how we look at what properties we want. This is how we can help them. Now go and do it.
Yeah.
You can't prepare forever. You need to go out now, and you need to start.
And does that have to be door knocking? Is it canvassing? Is it comp slips? What? Again, if you were starting your own business tomorrow, and you to go, right, Sian, just fucking do that every day, build the habit, what would you do?
Door knocking. If they're not in, comp slip. The door knocking, I think people get in their own heads about too much because they're trying to win the business on the door. And that is everything you shouldn't be doing.
Yep.
You should be knocking that door to create a conversation and create intrigue and urgency. If they're not in, pop a comp slip in, but keep it really, intriguing.
Yeah.
To create that little bit of, what's this person about? Because we all know that everyone's going to have letters through their door and they're going to have comp slips, but that whole, I have a buyer in your area, like looking for your property, and it's actually been photocopied and
valuing on your street
all the time. It just creates that, we're positioning ourselves at TA UK as, we're different and we do things differently and create a different outcome. And I think by doing it from the get-go, you position yourself in that way.
The biggest, you're completely right, and I just want to hone down on something. The biggest mistake I see agents make is they go, right, I'm going to start. I call it enthusiasm versus endurance. Do you want your own business, Sian? Yeah. Do you want to be able to pick your kids up from school? Yeah. Do you want to earn a load of dough? Yeah. Do you want to go knock on some doors? What it is. And then like you say, then it's I'll do it next week, but I've just got a load of admin this week. I'm going to be better. Next week it's freaking raining.
Yeah.
And then you get a referral in off your mates. You go, well, I've got this listing I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
And I speak to agents and I go, they go, I've got 5 listings on, I'm super busy. What? You've got 5 listings on, what are you doing for 8 hours a day? An hour and 30 minutes on each? I don't think so. Which I find crazy. And then there's for me there's 3 things that will happen. Agents that have got really, really well known in the community will probably get referred anyway, and they'll still sell 10, 15 a month. A year, great. But they'll never move the dial. They might get more referrals, so the following year they go up to 15, 20, but it's not the level they could get to. Or you get agents that scrap around, and then inevitably if they don't get to 5 quite quickly, we call it drive to 5, will fail.
Yeah.
And there's no kind of middle ground, but if both of those agents just committed a few hours a day to going out 10 doors a day and compounded it, they both run profitable, successful businesses. Yeah,
and I think as well is that when you start by yourself, is that it's actually quite a big transition, not only from a monetary, and a security value, but when you're employed, most agents that are making that move are, they're sort of senior negs or they're branch managers, and you're working 8-9 hours a day, but that is full.
Yeah.
You have got, even if you aren't particularly busy, you're suddenly cleaning a kitchen or you're ordering stationery or something like that. And you're eating lunch at your desk, so you're going from having 9 hours of constantly having something to going into, however it looks, whether you're in a model or independent, and then you have to try and fill those 9 hours. And for me, that was one of the biggest challenges, was looking at what was proactive and what is busy.
Yeah.
And that is a really, really difficult place to navigate, I think, when you first start. It's okay, am I being productive or am I being busy? Okay,
fine. So when you transition from employed to self-employed, you've got a lot of time to fill, right? So talk to me about being proactive and busy and the mistakes you see.
Okay, so it's looking at how you fill your time. And for me, it was a really hard sort of balance, because I'm naturally we're the same. We're very busy people up here, and it will come out in one hit. And I found the transition really hard to actually work out what was moving my business and what was just making me feel better about doing stuff. And because you do have that guilt of, I'm not doing anything, what should I be doing? And that pretty much nails it on the head, is looking at what is moving your business forward. And I think as a self-employed personal agent, every business is going to look different in terms of executing what you're doing to make your business successful. And I don't think that there's a one rule for everyone, because every single business owner is going to be different. But the two main things is obviously structure and consistency. They are the fundamentals to grow a successful business. But that looks different per person. So my golden rule for my business is that every single day I move the needle.
I love that.
Oh, love moving the needle.
Yeah.
Love it. But that could look really different in loads of different ways. So it could be, you know, everyone has the days where you're just like, I can't be asked, I really can't be bothered today. But it could just be putting out that one social media post. It could be, you know, following up on the last 10 viewings. It could be just popping out a message on WhatsApp, a broadcast of saying, you know, I've got a few gaps coming up on the books if anyone knows anything. Just literally moving that needle every day. And that to me is being proactive. It doesn't have to look like I'm sitting down at my computer for 4 hours looking at how I can restructure that or put a process in for that. It's about things that are actually going to build my business and make me money.
Yeah, and I say often you don't earn money behind your desk, right?
Yeah.
You need to be out and about in the community, doing all the things you've mentioned and getting structured. I think, so I look at this and I go out with agents door knocking and look at their lead gen plans. And the final thing I wanted to touch upon is, how do you time block, or do your agents time block when they go out? No. How do you ensure that structure? So you said structure and consistency.
I did, yeah. For me, my business is a complete oxymoron of structure and consistency, because I am the most structured person ever, and the most consistent person ever. And that probably doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but for us that have our slightly spicier brains, it does make sense. So I have absolute non-negotiable days. So for me, like my Thursdays are my client days. They're the days they're getting their performance updates. They're the days that they're getting, you know, their sales progression. That's fixed for me. But my life can look really different every single day, because I could have a day where one of the kids are off sick, or, you know, I've got X amount going on or something like that. And that's why for me it's just really important to be doing that one thing a day that makes sense. But my lead gen primarily is obviously social media, and that's a Sunday night job. Sunday night, all like the week is scheduled out, so I don't have to think about it or look at it again.
And how do you post it? What do you use a tool? Do you post it and schedule it? How do you do it?
Yeah, so Business Suite, just on a Sunday, schedule it all out for the week.
On Business Suite, and what is that? An app? Is that
Meta?
Yeah. Okay.
I've tried using apps like Metrical, things like that, but I found that the engagement went down. But they have looked at it and they've said it could be because it's a third party that it changes the algorithm. So I just post every day at the same time, but rotating obviously the content that goes out. So my Facebook and my Instagram are never the same. There's always, you know, a bit of difference. And like you touched upon earlier, I'm obviously growing the team in Kent as well. So I've had to slightly reposition my social media, rather than being Sian Miller, personal estate agent in Sittingbourne, to Sian Miller, personal estate agency with team in Kent.
Okay.
So that I can push things out to them as well. Other thing is like direct mail. That goes out every Monday without me touching it, because I genuinely haven't got the time, the patience, or the consistency, funnily enough, to be going out and posting letters.
It's really interesting. So businesses will get to a point, so the lead gen, the canvassing, etc. The split schools of thought on this, but I know Steph's almost school of thought is, you go out for 3 months, you play all out, and you grow a business that's that good, you never need to canvass again. Mm-hmm. But I also think, and I agree with that, but I also think it almost never stops in terms of what you do and targeting properties. And I think agents are the most inconsistent in most of the trades or work I've ever seen. So if you're not going to go out and do it because you're either too busy or whatever else, automation and leverage is super key. Yeah. And that's something that we want to keep investing more in, so that you almost help agents move the needle without them even knowing it goes out every Monday and doing it on their behalf. Would you do that when you started though?
No.
So you would be still hitting the pavements, pounding the streets?
Yeah. I mean, when I started, I didn't have the same guidance as we have now with the coaching. And I may as well just got a bunch of notes, set them on fire, and gone, that didn't work, let's try again. But now it's knowing about what works and what doesn't, and that's how we can help the coaching. When people were onboarding, it's how I can help my team. They'll say, Sian, what do you think about this? And I'm like, don't do that. It's going to be a waste of your money.
Yeah.
And our job is to obviously for people to have profitable businesses, not just a business.
Yeah.
But
I love that, by the way.
At the beginning it was very much, what envelope colour we're using, what pen colour we're using, and things like that. And I think when you're starting out, that will set you apart from the competition, 100%. But when you've been in, when you've built and scaled a business, your personal brand's already there.
Then you're omnipresent. When you start, no one knows who the hell you are. So you have to fight and do more personal stuff. Ewan was certainly saying on his podcast, the black envelopes, the gold pen, and just the output, 125 a week minimum. Yeah. And if he can't get out to some of those doors, he'll post them. But he makes sure non-negotiable 125 nice brochured coloured envelopes go out.
Yep.
And it's consistent. It's not I'll do it one week and not the next. I think the final thing I just want to jump in before we wrap up, and I'll give you your curveball question that you're not prepped for, is I always say to agents, if you're going to go and lead generate and hit say 50 properties, door knock them, canvass them, do all the stuff you've mentioned for 1 week and then go out, I won't do next week. I will do the following week, but then I'm on holiday. You've got to do it 8 times over 8 weeks. I've seen the proof of this. If you don't do it, you might as well as done. You said just burn the £50 notes. The power is in the consistency.
Yep.
So when agents I see start to go, well, I was away then, I couldn't quite do that. Well, it's like, well, if you're away, why didn't you prep a load of letters and throw second-class stamps on so you didn't miss that week?
Yeah.
I'm not saying anyone shouldn't take a holiday, God, but you have to be consistent, because the number one thing the public are looking for when they receive it, say, oh, that's different, that's nice, but it's the consistency, because their agent, if they haven't sold after 8 weeks, they haven't heard from them and hasn't been consistent. So if you can't be, even if you're putting the best canvassing material out there, but if you can't be consistent, your chances of success are so much less. So much less.
And I think as well is that, like I have 50 going out every week. They just go out, whatever. And then they'll get like a follow-up one. And it opens up a conversation when they do call you, because they're like, okay, you've messaged, you've done this a few times now. Like, what makes you different? And my go-to is, when do you last speak to your agent? They say, I haven't really heard from them in a few weeks. And I'm like, oh, in them few weeks you had 3 letters from me. So there's one thing that's different.
Yeah.
And you've already, my approach is always that cheeky, quite blunt, get in there. And it just opens the doors. And, if you go on holiday, I was away last week, and I had one of the most expensive homes in Sittingbourne call me, and I still took that call, and I said to them, they said, oh, you sounds a bit noisy where you are. I said, I'm actually on holiday at the moment. What, and you're still answering your phone? Yeah, it doesn't stop. I said, the only thing I can't do is physically come to you right now, but I wouldn't anyway.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's fine, we're away as well, come round on 2 weeks time.
Nice.
So you've opened the door up, you've created a bit of a...
And you've shown why you're different, right?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Makes sense. All right, that is a wrap for season 3. If you found value, please like, subscribe. I know I sound like Stephen Bartlett. Do whatever you need to do. I know, get on, give me a review, comment, let us know your thoughts. And if you go and try any of this stuff and it works, please let us know as well. The next series, series 4, Sian, is all about mental wellness and protecting your mental health. So my curveball question for you is, it can be brutal. Self-employed agency can be brutal. What is one tip, trick, coping mechanism, whatever it is that you use to ensure that if you have those wobbles or bad days, that you're back on track the very next day? Alcohol.
No, that's
good.
Not. I think I can, you've seen my journey, and it hasn't been, personal situations have not been easy, and I've been up against a lot of shit in, the last few years. But for me, it's identifying the burnout before it happens, because I've been to that burnout stage, and it's not nice. So for me, as soon as I feel, when I wake up in the morning, if I have a day of going, I am not feeling this, I move the needle, I'm done for the day, because I can't bring my best self. to anything,
Yeah.
to be quite honest. So it's about taking that time out and actually not feeling guilty for it as well.
Yeah.
I think is really important. And just, having that time away and becoming just you again. I think with this industry, especially when it's your own business, you've got no protection around you, have you? Do you know, it's you that's there all the time. Combine that with being, partner, mum, chef, house cleaner, dog walker, horse person. You wear so many hats at once that it does get too much. I think just taking that time out and going, it's okay to do nothing, is really important.
Cool. Thank you so much.
And alcohol.
And alcohol. Brilliant. Sian, you've been a dream. Thank you.
Very welcome.